but the perfect storm for this campaign, because really rallies are where they get information on people and where Trump gets his excitement. And they had to cancel this one due to the weather. It was beautiful in Portsmouth over the weekend. What happened?
So, Mika, good morning. Let's remember, of course, that the first attempted reboot of the campaign was going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, about 3 weeks ago. And they billed that as going to be this massive display of force. The campaign manager, Bart Pascal, boasted of 1 million ticket requests. And it turned out only 6,000 people showed, mostly out of fears of the coronavirus pandemic in an indoor arena, leaving the president staring at a sea of empty seats and him fuming. The campaign's had a shakeup since. They've tried to reimagine what rallies could look like. There was discussions of having one in Alabama to support the president's favorite candidate in that Senate race. That never came to be. So the next attempt was going to be Saturday night in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. New Hampshire, a battleground state, but one that's right now the president is trailing fairly significantly to Joe Biden. It was a state where he was close in 2016, but one that is considered a bit of a reach right now. And the reboot was going to be in an airline hangar. It was going to be outdoors. They thought that would allay some concerns. They deliberately didn't talk up crowd size. They wanted it to be smaller. They wanted it to be more manageable, but the president wanted to get back on the road. He needed to be out there, as you say, to draw strength from crowds, energizing the crowds, try out new attack lines on Joe Biden. To this point, they haven't been working. And yes, they're incredibly valuable voter data collection tools. I was traveling with the president on Friday to Florida, and just as we touched down, he had a series of events there. Just as Air Force One touched down, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany came back and said that the rally had been postponed for at least a few weeks because of, indeed, the forecast of a tropical storm in that area on Saturday. It didn't rain on Saturday,
ridiculous.
As it turned out.
No. It's completely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There was no problems with the weather.
There was not. It rained. It certainly did rain Friday night. There was some rain in the forecast going into Saturday, but all along the forecast had the rain stopping by early morning, and as it turned out, it stopped even before then. I had reported earlier in the week that there was indeed concerns among campaign staffers as to what kind of crowd they would draw. Those worries mounted as the week went on. We talked to Republican leaders up in the state of New Hampshire who said they were trying to get people to show up. They were trying to generate some excitement for this rally. And to be sure, sometimes at these events, Trump supporters show up hours early, and if they had camped out overnight or something, perhaps they would have been rained on. And a bad weather forecast might dissuade people from doing that. But there was no evidence of people camping out in Portsmouth on Saturday night, and it ended up not raining at all. And here's the bind, Mika, as the last point, that the president and his team, they're now in. It is hard to imagine them being able to hold a rally anywhere, anytime soon, because to have a venue, it needed to meet two important criteria. It needs to be, most likely, a state where the COVID pandemic, which is surging throughout the country right now, is not rising. And there aren't that many states right now where you can say that. New Hampshire was one of them. The rate there is stable. You're right. The governor, though he agreed he was going to meet the president on the tarmac while wearing a mask, he wasn't going to go to the rally. But certainly in New Hampshire, the coronavirus pandemic is not as severe at this moment as it is in other states. But the second one is this. In order to have a rally, you need a state's governor to waive health regulations preventing gatherings of large groups of people. They were willing to do that in New Hampshire. In a lot of other states, because, I should say, New Hampshire's governor, a Republican, and a lot of other states with Democratic governors, like Michigan and Pennsylvania, they're not willing to do that. In short, the president is having a hard time having a rally, and the places where he needs to go most, he can't.